Let's be real for a second. The term JRPG is stupid. It's confusing, inconsistent, and just plain wrong. Yet it's still everywhere. So today I want to give you my thoughts on why this label doesn't make sense, where it came from, and why it's time to retire it. Or at least, rethink it. Now, this is just my perspective based on the games I've played, but I know I'm not the only one who's wrestled with this, so let's talk about it. JRPG literally means Japanese role-playing game. By that logic, it should only apply to RPGs made in Japan. Simple, right? Except, it's not how people use it. Western devs market their games as JRPGs, and titles like Dragon's Dogma or Demon Souls gets debated endlessly over what they count as. So the name itself is misleading before we even start the discussion. The YouTuber Extra Credits had a great point. RPGs were developed in Japan and the West at the same time. Instead of one influencing the other, they grew side by side, with different focuses. Japan leaned into a strong narrative, deep characters, emotional storytelling, and an art style unique to their region. Gameplay was more of an afterthought with the simplistic choose and wait turn-based systems. Meanwhile, Western RPGs prioritized freedom, with open worlds, branching choices, and player expressions. The story itself was simple, so that the player could have more power to shape it with their actions. Both were RPGs, but with distinct flavors, and that's where the split started. However, as games evolved with better technology, the lines blurred as they borrowed ideas from each other. All the while, the label JRPG stayed stuck in the past. When I think of what it means to be Japanese, I think of one thing. Did it originate from Japan? Of course, with globalization slowly spreading multiculturalism, immigration, interracial mingling, and a more shared society, that will most definitely change. But for now, a country of origin determines just that, where it comes from. The other issue with JRPG is that it isn't just an inaccurate term. It feels like a dirty label, kind of like how gamer can have negative connotations. It can infer that someone who likes JRPGs might be perverted or into weird things, just based on the amount of sexualization and brother-sister relationships that happen in anime and other Japanese media. Because of this, when people outside of the gaming community ask about the games I play, I just tell them Final Fantasy and leave it at that. Yeah, 16 was absolutely amazing. Even Naoki Yoshida, the producer of Final Fantasy XIV and 16, mentioned feeling negatively about the term in an interview with SkillUp, although for a different reason. To some Japanese devs, it felt like people were putting their game in a subcategory instead of being on an equal footing. And honestly, I get it. What other reason in their minds could there be to differentiate it when everyone is just trying to make RPGs? Asian media hasn't always been popular, though that's changing. As a kid, I got made fun of for liking anime, but now that's mainstream. No one was into Asian shows until maybe Squid Games and Terrace House. Same thing for K-pop. Now everyone knows who BTS or Blackpink is, and K-pop Demon Hunters has taken over the world by storm. As long as developers continue to improve on their craft instead of relying on nostalgia, it's only a matter of time until JRPGs also become more mainstream. The other thing for me is that JRPGs don't feel as consistent as they used to be. Back in the so-called Golden Age, even with technical limitations, the stories felt stronger. Nowadays, it's a hit or miss. The last Valkyrie profile was disappointing. I lost hope for Star Ocean, no pun intended, when 5 released, though 6 did show significant improvement. And I haven't really been excited about any new games coming out. Here's the real question though. Why do I play JRPGs in the first place? Interesting stories, fun gameplay, rewarding progression, and good characters. These are all legitimate, but superficial points that can really be applied to any game. I could say that these are the reasons I like Halo, StarCraft, or Chrono Trigger. The core motive is the type of itch each game scratches. I play JRPGs like Kiseki because Falcom has built an amazing world filled with fantastic characters that feel lively. I've put in over 1,000 hours into Fallout 4 because of the amount of freedom I have to progress at my own pace, explore the world, make my own choices, and create vastly different builds and playstyles. I think the answer to the question is how we should start thinking about the RPG categories. So here's where I land. We don't need to lump JRPGs and Western RPGs together, because they are different experiences. But calling them JRPGs based on geography doesn't make sense anymore. Maybe it's time for a better term, one that describes the style, not the passport of the developer. Because if a game like Chained Echoes isn't allowed to be called a JRPG, then honestly, what are we even doing? What do you think? Does the term JRPG still make sense? Or should we retire it and come up with something better? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Until our next random encounter, keep grinding, keep exploring, and I'll see you on the next adventure.